All right, go ahead and roll for perception.
I got a 13.
Hey, that's pretty good. With that, you can tell there's some fantasy situations going on. You hear some adult language, and with that, you can tell this podcast probably isn't for kids.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Dungeoncast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Will.
This is the podcast where we talk about everything Dungeons & Dragons, from fantastic felines to fortified fortresses. And today, we're revisiting The Fighter.
The Dungeoncast.
Okay, so we're revisiting The Fighter. It's been a while.
We're back, baby.
Yeah, it's been, I think,
That was
Fighter
like our first class episode.
Yeah, it was our first class episode.
Aww.
It was our first episode that wasn't like explaining the basics of D&D. It was episode 4.
Little baby Will and Brian.
I know. Just getting started in the world.
Podcasting. Fresh to it. Not anymore.
And when we
now.
Yes, indeed. When we did that episode, there was only the 3 subclasses in the PHP.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's 4 more.
Many things have happened since the birth of the Dungeoncast.
Indeed they have. So we're going to cover 4 subclasses in this episode. 1 is from the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, and 3 are from Xanathar's Guide to Everything.
Cool.
So, yeah, let's just get into it.
I think we should. Yes,
So we will.
We will.
Okay, so the first subclass is from Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, and it's called Purple Dragonite. That's the name of the subclass.
Purple Dragonite.
Purple Dragonite.
It's a shiny Dragonite.
No, not Dragon Knight. No.
Dragon
Knight.
Yes.
Indeed.
Okay.
So this is Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide is a Forgotten Realms specific source book.
Right.
And in it there are a few Forgotten Realms specific subclasses. There's one for the Barbarian, I think it was the Battle Rager. There's one for the Wizard, it's the Blade Singer.
Oh, okay.
And there's one for the Fighter, it's the Purple Dragon Knight.
Nice.
Obviously you can use this subclass regardless of your setting, but the premise behind it is Forgotten Realms specific, because in Forgotten Realms there is an organization called the Purple Dragonites. They're an elite knighthood from the country of Cormyr, and they're very much your storybook knights. They exemplify chivalry and leadership.
They're like a King Arthur based Knights at the Round
Yes,
Table.
very
kind of
much
thing?
so, very
Okay.
much so. And like there's a whole history behind why they're called the Order of the Purple Dragon and all that. We're not really going to get into that, but one of the main things about them in world that's known is they're really known for going out there and inspiring their allies and their friends to do better in battle, to keep the fight going.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of their features are going to be like focused on that aspect of the fight. So the restriction of this subclass is called knighthood. Basically, to attain this subclass in story, your character should gain some sort of knighthood. I don't really pay attention to restrictions. If my character wants to do something, we're just going to make it happen.
Yeah, just include it in the backstory.
Exactly.
Like we did it. It's cool.
Indeed.
Yeah, you were knighted by like the fucking somebody. I don't fucking
Right. by whatever knighthood exists in your world that you're a part of.
Totally.
Exactly. So another thing is that I want to say before we dive into like the mechanics of this is one of 2 subclasses we're going to talk about today that really remind me of 4th edition stuff.
That's really cool though.
Yeah.
I like 40.
Oh yeah. That's definitely not a bad thing. I think it's really cool. This specifically reminds me a lot of the 4E Warlord, which was a martial class that really focused on healing and buffing the allies through like orders, like military orders, and like inspiring your allies. You're point and clicking.
You're playing StarCraft.
Indeed. And it was a really cool concept, and it was a really well received concept. Which is funny enough.
People love that build, the Lazy Lord.
Oh yeah,
That's
absolutely.
very popular in the threads, as they call it.
Yeah, in the threads. So this definitely has some influence from that. That being said, I find this to be the most lackluster of the 4 subclasses we're talking about today. I love it.
That's interesting. It seems rich, like as far as roleplay.
I love it in roleplay. I love it in concept, but I feel the execution is just a bit lacking. But
okay.
We'll see what you think. Obviously, the audience will see what you think.
I mean, yeah, this is like the Knights Templar thing. I mean, I think that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So let's get into it. So at 3rd level, you get a feature called Rallying Cry. basically you can inspire your allies to fight through their injuries. So it's
Okay.
not really healing, but you're giving them a little extra oomph.
In
So
4E, it was called Rub Some Dirt on It, right?
in 4E there was an ability called just rub some dirt in it, and it was similar.
I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. So with this, basically, whenever you take a second wind, you could pick 3 allies within 60 feet of you, and they're going to gain HP equal to your fighter level. So at level 3, they're each going to gain 3 HP,
I mean,
which
that's
is
cool. There's
you
a
know,
spell that does that.
right. Exactly. This is not a
I mean, it's
spell.
like what is it, like a D4 plus your cleric level? Or whatever it is, or your wisdom.
Oh, you're
mod
talking
or
about
something
healing
like that?
word?
Yeah.
Healing word, yeah. It's in the similar level. Healing word's probably a bit more powerful, but this is like spread amongst multiple allies, and so yeah.
Well, that's the one I'm
extra
talking
HP.
about. Is the cleric spell? It does I think it does like a D4 to everybody.
Oh, you did mass heal word.
Okay, yeah,
That's pretty.
that one.
That's higher level too. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is at level 3 that you would get this, which isn't too shabby. Like I said, it's not too powerful, but I mean, it is useful. I'm not sure how to feel about this.
You spend
feature.
your action doing that.
Your second wind, it just pops off with your second wind.
See, that's pretty cool because
Yeah.
it's not eating up your like too much action economy.
No,
really.
I think it's just a bonus action. You use the second wind, and then the limitation there is your second wind. You can only do 1 per short rest. So
I mean,
there it is.
if you need another round of combat to kill the bad guy, this could be the thing you need.
Yeah, that's true.
Get
Like
people standing back up.
extra HP is extra HP, no matter how you
It goes a
slice
long
it,
way
so.
in 5e.
Indeed. So at level 7, you get a feature called Royal Envoy. And the premise here is that because of your high standing in society, purple Dragonites are well regarded. You're expected to act with a certain amount of grace and
Poise
chivalry and
and-
poise
yeah.
and whatnot. And by doing so in the role play, you gain proficiency in persuasion. If you already have proficiency in persuasion, you get a choice between animal handling, insight, intimidation, or performance.
Okay.
So you get a free skill, and then on top of it, your proficiency bonus is doubled when you're using the persuasion skill.
Ooh,
So
that's pretty good.
it's a cool social ability, but for a subclass that I feel is lacking in actual combat mechanics, I feel like the Royal Envoy bit should have a social and a combat aspect, but it just has the social aspect.
Okay.
I think that fundamentally makes this subclass a bit weaker than other fighter subclasses.
I think that's but the role play is so cool.
But the role play is very cool.
It's like,
yes.
hey, I need you to let me into this temple.
Yeah.
Like really badly. It's for the purple Dragonites. Come on, buddy.
But at the same time, it's like, why not roll a paladin where you get all this stuff?
I was gonna say that
Yeah.
earlier. It's like this sounds just like a paladin, except you're not imbued with holy magics.
But this would come in really handy if you're playing in a really low magic setting.
Ooh, yeah,
Like,
that's
here
true.
you go. Like I think this subclass would really shine
Uh-huh.
in that kind of setting, because in that setting there's no healing unless you're a purple Dragonite or something similar.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. So there it is. That's
Yeah,
a
unless
level
you're a
7.
fighter, and then you're healing yourself, or if you're this fighter, you're healing everybody.
Indeed. At level 10, you get Inspiring Surge. When you take an action. Oh, excuse me. When you take an action surge, one creature of your choice within 60 feet can make a melee or ranged weapon attack with a reaction if they have a reaction.
Okay.
This turns into 2 people of your choice at level 17.
Okay.
So this is very reminiscent to the Warlord, just like Rallying Cry was reminiscent to the Warlord. In 4th edition, you had oh my gosh, what was it? There was Commanding Strike and Direct the Strike were 2 of your at-wills.
Okay.
And both of them were like you would use for different reasons, but essentially you ordered someone else to make a move.
And your at will was something you could just do at will, like every
Exactly.
turn if you wanted to.
Yeah, so
It
as
took
the
an action.
Warlord, you weren't making attacks. You were telling other people to make tactical
Yeah,
attacks,
it's
which
pretty
is
cool.
really cool.
Literally, just go stand somewhere and like keep all your HP and like let your friends go do the work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And in this case, it's a little different. When you use an action surge, which you only have a certain amount of those per short rest, depending on your level, you can then, like, I guess through your exuberance to take extra actions, you're like, and you also go, and you also go.
Fight with me,
So,
friends.
indeed,
It is
yeah,
time
yeah.
to slay the creature.
Yeah, no, this is really mechanically sound. This is really a powerful feature. I think this is a good feature, but you don't get that till level 10.
Damn, man. Like,
It's pretty late to get that.
yeah.
And I just
Level 10 is fun,
I
though.
think that on top of the fact that the fighter is already a really straightforward and simple class with not a lot of like creative options to do on your turn, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think when the subclass is also that way, it could get boring to play in combat.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Take it or leave it. Let's get to the final bit on this. At level 15, you're going to get a feature called Bulwark. So
Bulwark?
Bulwark.
Like a bull?
like Bulwark. Bulwark.
Bulwark. Okay.
Bulwark.
What is that?
Bulwark. I'm actually not entirely sure. When I picture Bulwark, I just picture like a big burly, like a defense.
Just like a buff guy?
I guess yeah. Oh, I think a bulwark would be like a defense on a structure, but I'm not sure on that.
Oh, okay.
I'm actually unclear.
Some kind of fortification.
I just know that the word is associated with defense and impenetrability.
That's ringing a bell.
So when you use the Indomitable feature, which is a feature you can use when you fail a save as a fighter, depending on your level, you get a certain amount of indomitableness.
I don't remember that.
It's at the higher levels. I think
okay.
by level 20 you get 3 uses of Indomitable, and basically if you fail a save, you can choose to make the save roll again.
Okay.
So when you use the Indomitable feature to save versus an Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma save, you may choose one ally within 60 feet of you, and they can re-roll a save if they are hit by the same effect. So
yeah, like
okay.
What?
I
like a spell, like a big, like an area of effect spell, kind of.
Yeah, if it's Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma,
right?
Specifically.
Okay.
So I like the idea of this feature.
Yeah, sure.
I like the idea of when you make a save, you can have your allies pull through it just like you because you inspire them to do so. But I feel like this is way too specific. We got 2 lines of specificity here. 1, it has to be an Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma save. 2,
I mean, that's a lot of spells, to be fair.
it is a lot of spells, but it's not. It doesn't count Dex or Con,
Right.
which are a
Huge.
huge amount of spells. And the other line of specificity is they have to be re-rolling the same save effect as you.
Right.
I feel like the spirit of this feature, which I think, and correct me if you think I'm wrong, but I think the spirit of the feature is the idea that you are so inspiring by pulling through. You inspire your allies to do the same.
Either that, or I was thinking on like a different kind of mentality that like I watched him do it. I know what to do now. Like,
right.
Or you're like, or on your end,
that's
like,
valid. Yeah.
Bend your knees, boys. Dig in.
I like that too. That's really cool. My point is, I think that one of these lines of specificity should be taken out.
I just noticed that every time I've been imitating a fighter, I've been like double handing a sword.
Yeah, because fuck yeah.
Hell
That's
yeah.
why. So I think personally,
so it needs more.
Yeah, I think it needs more. I think the Intelligence, Wisdom, Charisma thing's too specific. I think if you're making a save, whether it's Constitution, Dex, Strength, or whatever, like you're inspiring your allies or showing your allies how to get through it, they should get that reroll too.
I would, if it were me building it, I'd probably give it Dex, give it Con, and then give it like the Intelligence and Wisdom, and leave the Charisma out of it. Like,
okay,
like, dude, your Charisma is like kind of inherent. Like, I don't know. That's just how I feel.
I can see that argument. For me, for simplicity's sake, just make it, if they're making the same save that you're saving from too. I don't care if it's an illusion or a fireball.
Yeah, why not everything?
Yeah, why not everything? Why these 2 layers of specificity to basically make this so specific? You may never use it. You probably will, but like
it's very situational.
Yeah, especially for a high level feature. And sorry if I'm picking apart your favorite subclass out there. I do think this is a cool subclass, and as a DM, I would work to make this subclass as fun for the player as possible.
Yeah, I think at this point, with like the release of Xanathar's Guide and like Mordenkainen is coming out, like. Maybe we could just be a good DM and like give it, like, remove that
You got it.
Say it.
Specificity.
Remove one of those layers like you're talking about. Right.
Yeah, and that's just what I would do. That's just how I would do it. But you know what? To each their own.
You're the DM.
Any other questions about the Purple Dragonite before we move on?
How many normal Dragonites do I have to kill before I find it in the wild?
10.
10? That's a very bad Pokemon reference. Sorry.
Yeah. Are you talking about shinies?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So I think so
like 5,280 or
isn't
some
the
shit.
shiny Dragonite purple?
No, it's green.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
it's like that
green.
weird. It's like different palettes of green.
It looks like what's that Disney cartoon with the dragon? From way back in the day.
Puff the Magic Dragon?
No, not Puff the Magic Dragon. Is it Pete's Dragon? Is that
Oh,
a thing?
yeah, totally.
I think it's supposed to look like Pete's Dragon.
Okay.
I could be wrong on that. I don't know. Let's move on.
Yes.
Okay, so the next subclass we're going to talk about is the Arcane Archer.
Oh, I've
Which-
never really read. It always sounds cool to be like just a dedicated archer, but I'm always like, oh, I guess I'll be a ranger. You know, like that's
Right,
that's
right.
that +9 or whatever they get on their fucking rolls.
Yes, but
Super
fighters get
beast.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you take the archer fighting style, yeah, it's very accurate.
Okay. Yeah, hit me with it.
Okay, so the Arcane Archer is a subclass that people have been clamoring for a long time. It's
Now we're in Xanathar's Guide, right?
we're in Xanathar's Guide now.
Yeah.
And
Goodbye, Skag.
people were excited about it. People are always excited about Arcane Archer. They were excited about anything equivalent coming out in 4th edition, although I can't remember if anything worthwhile ever did come out. And I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure Arcane Archer was a very popular prestige class in 3.5.
I remember people really loving the Unearthed Arcana on that one.
Yeah. And the premise of this is you're a skilled archer that can infuse magic into your arrow strikes.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The art of the Arcane Archer is said to have originated with the elves because they're elves, and but now has spread to the other races.
Okay.
You know, so
Somebody let the info
there's-
leak.
Yeah, exactly. So they're supposed to be relatively rare, but not unheard of.
Okay.
I feel personally that this subclass belongs to the ranger. That's just my opinion.
See,
I know-
you're with me on
yeah,
this.
I am with you
basically.
on this. I know there's a lot of people that agree. I know there's a lot of people that disagree. That's just my opinion on it.
It's in the name,
and
Ranger, range,
On top of
Ranger.
it, yeah. On top of it, this is a very solid subclass, and the Ranger needs as much love as it can get in this game.
Yes, absolutely.
That being said, let's get into it. So, at 3rd level, you gain a couple features. The first of which is called Arcane Archer Lore. With this feature, you gain proficiency in either Arcana or Nature. It's your choice. And you gain either the Prestidigitation cantrip or the Druidcraft
That's
cantrip.
pretty cool. They're
It is really
basically
cool.
the same cantrip.
Right. And what's cool about this to me is like, okay, it's giving you the option to do more of like an arcane spin or like a druidic spin on your ranger, on your archer magic.
Yes.
Again, just says to me, well, this probably should have belonged to the ranger.
Is Prestidigitation concentration?
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
If it is, I wish it wasn't, because I would be making like a big like a scope, like the way a scope looks when you look through it, like the target. I would just make that, and I would shoot all my arrows through it.
that'd
that'd
be,
be
I'd allow
super
that.
dope.
Why not? I'd allow that.
Hell yeah.
Before we move on, for the use of all your arcane abilities, you use the ability score of intelligence.
Okay,
So-
cool. So that's
So very wizard
it's
like.
kind of worth balancing your fighter out then.
Yeah, much like the Eldritch Knight. I welcome any class that uses intelligence because I feel like intelligence needs a little more love in this game.
I think it's one of the more confusing ability scores.
I don't think it's confusing. I think it's just less useful when it comes to combat.
Like what? In combat, it's kind of straightforward what you do with intelligence. Like you use it to cast spells, blah blah
Right.
blah. But like when you're using it in game, I kind of like to let players roll intelligence to like get clues.
Yeah, I agree.
If they're like, okay, is this within the range of your characters?
Is this in the scope of your knowledge?
Yeah, and I'll let you roll for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's absolutely.
Acceptable.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Maybe we'll do an episode where we talk about like the ability scores.
Yeah, what you can do with them, because like
I think that's worth an
It
episode.
gets muddled like in when you're in role play, basically.
Yeah. I think for me, one of the biggest muddles is like perception and investigation and wisdom. and
Yeah. See,
intelligence.
what's the
Yeah.
line? Where's the line?
We'll talk about that in another episode. Let's get back to the Arcane
Let's do
Archer.
it.
Okay, so the other feature that you're going to get at 3rd level is called Arcane Shot. This is your bread and butter. You can infuse spell-like effects into your bow attacks. You gain 2 Arcane Shot options from the Arcane Shot options list, which there's like 10 of them.
Okay.
You could choose the option. Okay, so you could choose for the option. It's much like Divine Smite for the Paladin.
Nice.
So you can choose to say whether you use your Arcane Shot until after you hit. So you'll
Cool.
never burn it without.
Yeah, it's not fun to waste stuff.
You get 2 shots per short rest. You're going to gain more options at levels 7, 10, 15, and 18. I went ahead and printed out a couple of the options just to give you a taste of like the kind of options we're talking about here.
Okay.
But there's like 10 or 12 of them.
Is
So-
it like I keep picturing Link from I guess either the Breath of the Wild or like Ocarina of Time or Majora's Mask, like the way that the magic arrows work in that game?
Oh, you like the fire, ice,
fire
and light
arrow,
arrows?
ice.
Yes and no. There's some similarities, but they're a little more complex than that. So
cool.
here's a couple. Actually, yeah, they're a bit more complex than that. So the first one that I decided to bring here was the banishing arrow. So you use
shit.
abjuration magic to try to temporarily banish your target to a harmless location in the Feywild.
What?
The creature hit by the arrow must also succeed a charisma saving throw or be banished. While banished in this way, the target speed is 0 and it is incapacitated. At the end of its next turn, the target reappears in the space it vacated or in the nearest unoccupied space if that space is occupied. After you reach 18th level in this class, the target will also take 2d6 of force damage on top of its normal physical damage.
Oh, man, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. What I like about the Arcane Archer is they didn't go with the obvious blaster features that you would think. They went with a lot of tactical stuff. Like, that's a tactical decision.
Yeah, you can
we need this guy
somebody
gone
out.
for a turn. Yeah,
right,
that's really cool.
really powerful.
Indeed it is.
And they're going to take damage.
Another one I printed out was Bursting Arrow is another option you can choose. You imbue your arrow with force energy drawn from the School of Evocation. The energy detonates after your attack. Immediately after the arrow hits this creature, the target and all other creatures within 10 feet of it take 2d6 force damage each. The force damage increases to 4d6 when you reach 18th level in this class. So nice AoE, which is not something that fighters usually ever get.
Right.
Like, the best that they can manage is when they get all the multiple attacks, they can hit a few things that are all next to each other.
Yeah.
But this is a nice way to bomb on a cluster.
What's that feat you can take that lets you not have to disengage and you get like 10 extra movement?
A mobility?
Mobility, is it mobile? I think it's called mobile. That's
Yeah.
a really good feat for fighter. Kind of
point.
implements an area of an effect style thing. Like, I can run here, hit this guy, run here, hit this guy, and then run back to where I was.
It gives you options, which is something fighter classes usually need, regardless of edition.
I find myself wanting feats more as like a fighter, like
which
more basic.
tracks because you get more feat options as a fighter. You get more chances to take feats.
Right.
So.
But this is cool. The area of effect thing is neat.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So and there's a bunch more. I just chose 2
That's
at
some
random.
decent damage for when you're hitting multiple targets.
Well, yeah, because it's also on top of your normal damage.
Right.
So.
That's just like a spell.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah, very much so. So at 7th level, you get a feature called Magic Arrow. This one's pretty straightforward. You can choose to make your arrow shots magical or not, which around 7th levels when you start needing that. So it's a good time to get it.
Things really start resisting your non-magical shit.
And I find this is more useful in, again, low magic settings because you might not ever get a magic weapon in a low magic setting. So being able to do this, very powerful, very cool.
Yeah.
At 7th level, you get another feature. It's called Curving Shot. This one is really cool as well. When you make an attack with a magic arrow and you miss, you can use a bonus action to re-roll the attack on a different target within 60 feet of the original target. So basically, if you choose to make your arrow magic, and you will, because why would you not? It's not limited. At least I don't think it's limited. And you miss, you basically use magic to cause the arrow to curve and try and hit someone else.
Fucking Dragon Ball Z.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's very much like Dragon Ball Z.
His ki blast is tracking me.
Yeah.
Boom.
Exactly. So
Dead.
Very cool.
Yeah,
very
nice.
cool. And
infinite headshots.
Indeed. And the last feature you're going to get is at level 15. It's called Ever Ready Shot. If you roll initiative and have no uses of your arcane shot, you regain 1 use. So you will never enter a combat without at least 1 use of your arcane shot.
That is really fucking cool.
Yeah. It's just a nice way to replenish a very limited resource.
Yeah. What was it? Short rest replenish or?
It was. I think it's a short rest replenish. You get 2. Let me see here. I wrote it in my notes somewhere. You gain 2. You get 2 per short rest. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
So
that's like warlock slots.
It's like warlock slots. You would usually have 2, but if you don't have any, you get at least 1 no matter what.
And that's like half of your total. So that's
it's
really good.
Yeah, it's a really solid late level feature. So there it is. Any questions about the Arcane Archer?
No.
It's fun. It's cool.
Yeah, it feels straightforward. Like that's the thing about the fighter is even the magical fighters, they're fighters.
Yeah,
fighter's a fighter.
True. I just again I feel like this should belong to the ranger. And how cool would it be if you were a ranger who had all these like archer spell like options plus your normal ranger spells?
Yeah, that's cool. Like rangers are doing magic. They're half casters or quarter casters?
They're half casters.
That's fucking good.
Yeah, it just seems like that would fall into their ballpark.
Yeah, I know magic arrows. Yeah. Like I'm a ranger. Range.
Well, anyways, let's take a short rest.
Let's do it. Hey everybody, welcome to the part of the episode we're not talking about the last thing, we're talking about something else. The something else is you and how much we love you, and thank you for listening to the show and making it to this part of the show. So tasty, all these listeners. Thank you guys. If you're new to the show, welcome. I'm Will, I'm Brian, that's Will.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hi. We don't have too much going on, except we want to remind you about our current contest that we're hosting right now.
Yes, we got 2. In fact, one is on Twitter, and well, hold on. The contests that we are running are both for the same book. It's the newest upcoming Dungeons & Dragons book. It's Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes. I think it's a book that a lot of people are pretty excited about. I know I am. So our Twitter contest is running until May 29th, which is the day the book comes out. And to enter that contest, all you have to do is take a link to our show, tweet it to your followers with the hashtag Dungeoncast. It doesn't matter if it's a playlist. It doesn't matter if it's a YouTube episode or a SoundCloud episode or a Podbay episode or iTunes episode, as long as it's to our show.
Yeah, if it links to our show, baby, you good.
Indeed, you have been entered. And we're giving away one book on Twitter. On YouTube, we are also doing a parallel and similar giveaway. To enter that contest, go to our video, which we're going to put a link down in the descriptor, called Our Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes Giveaway. And to enter the contest there, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment telling us why you're excited for Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, and you'll be entered in that contest to win. Both contests will be announced. Both contest winners will be announced on May 29th. So best of luck.
Very, very nice. I hope everybody that enters wins. I know only 2 of you will, though. Anyway, hey, do you want more Dungeoncast stuff? You can find that on patreon.com/thedungeoncast. We've got lots of tiers of bonus content, and we really appreciate anybody that's willing to help us support what we do here. So yeah, go ahead and go find us there. Obviously, if you're listening on SoundCloud, we do have a YouTube thing going on, like we'll just explain. So you just search the Dungeoncast and find us there. Otherwise, you can find us on iTunes. You can find us on Podcast Addict, anywhere podcasts can be found. And we're on soundcloud.com/thedungeoncast. You can email us at thedungeoncast@gmail.com, or you can find us on Twitter at the Dungeoncast. Did I miss anything?
No, I think you got it all.
Will's doing a great job on Twitter. Go over there and give us a follow. Enter our contest. Get some D&D news. You can actually participate in polls about what episodes you want to come out next.
Yeah, I have to run one of those again. It's been a while.
I think we should. And we love you.
Indeed, we do.
Let's go back to the show.
Let's go back to the show. All right, we're back.
Fight me, Will.
No, I'm going to tell you how to fight, Brian.
That's good too.
Yeah. So the next subclass we're going to talk about actually ended up in my research being my favorite of the 4 we're talking about today.
Cool.
I was really surprised. We're talking
Is it
about
your favorite out of all of the subclasses?
I think so. I think it is.
Oh.
Yes, it is. Which is a surprise to me. Okay, we're talking about the Cavalier. That's the name of the subclass. And historically speaking, I've not been too big of a fan of the idea of the Cavalier in previous editions. It's shown up regularly, but it's never been really anything that speaks to me. It's like a knightly archetype that usually has this special focus on mounted combat.
Okay.
Which is cool, but you're not going to be on a mount all the time. What happens when you got to go in a cave? You're not going to ride your horse in a cave. That's stupid. So, what happens if you got to go through a tight spot? You can't ride your horse into the castle and up the stairs. You can't ride the horse up the tower, Brian.
You just have to be friends with somebody that can Phantom Steed really good.
True. Either way, I don't like a class built around like a very specific like mechanic. Like,
yeah, okay.
You're good until you're not on a horse. That's stupid. But that being said, that isn't how this played out in 5th edition, and I love it. So let's get into it.
All right.
At 3rd level, you get hold on. Let's back it up. What it did end up playing out is you do get some mounted capabilities as a Cavalier in 5th edition, but mostly you are a hugely defensive build that is really dedicated to becoming a black hole at the center of this battlefield.
Oh, I love that shit.
Like,
That's
you
good
punish
stuff.
people for not attacking you. You protect the shit out of your allies, and it's
Nice.
beautiful. So now let's get into it. At 3rd level, you're going to get a bonus proficiency. I think this is, again, because of the whole knighthoodness. I think this being a knight, you're expected to be a bit more skilled, I guess, than your average warrior.
If you're a knight, then you've been trained.
Yeah.
You've earned a title.
Yeah,
so you had to do something to get that.
Indeed. You see this with the Purple Dragon Knight, and you see this with the next subclass we're going to talk about, the Samurai. And you see it here. So you get a bonus proficiency in a skill of your choice, either animal handling, history, insight, performance, persuasion, or you can actually swap that out and just learn a language of your choice.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So you're just a bit more cultured. I think that's the idea. As a knight, you're supposed to be a bit more cultured.
You've probably been on like missions, I guess.
Indeed.
Since like you
Knights
went to a faraway land and learned the culture and came back.
Exactly. Knights are often diplomats. Animal handling makes sense if you're handling horses. History makes sense if you're dealing with like political entities where the history is important, and et cetera, et cetera. Okay, another feature you get at level 3 is called Born to the Saddle. You have advantage on...
That's a good name.
Indeed. You have advantage on saves to not fall off a mount, and if you do fall no more than 10 feet, you land on your feet. Also, mounting and dismounting takes only 5 feet instead of half your speed.
You're a fucking cat riding a horse.
Indeed.
Nice.
There's your mounting stuff.
That's pretty cool.
But now let's get into the bread and butter.
I think I've only ever been on a mount one time, and then I got off it to do combat.
Yeah, exactly. There it is.
Dang.
So there's your mounting thing. Now let's get into the bread and butter.
Oh, in fantasy, not in my real life. Sorry, guys.
Now let's get into the bread and butter.
Yes.
The unwavering mark. This is it right here. Now this feature is almost lifted from 4th edition. It is like the thing that makes the fighter in 4th edition the best defender in the game.
Okay.
Your skill in combat makes enemies pay the price for not focusing on you. When you hit an enemy with a melee attack, you mark them until the end of your next turn. While within 5 feet of you, a marked target has disadvantage on attacks not on you.
Cool.
In addition, if a marked creature deals damage to anyone not you, you can make a melee attack with a bonus action with advantage and extra damage equal to your fighter level.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
wow, that's
seriously
awesome.
punish a dude. You can make this attack a total number of times equal to your strength mod every long rest. So it's a limited resource, but that's a pretty brutal punishment. And here's the thing, like it's a limited resource, but the monster has to like burn that resource for you. It has to choose. Let's say you have an 18 strength mod, like the monsters have to choose to take that punishment 4 times.
Right.
And like the idea is to not make them want to face that punishment so they don't.
Right, because you're going to be the sponge here.
It's about the threat, not the actual action.
Right. So
Although if they provoke the threat, you also get the action.
yeah, so it's really not a big deal to burn the resource. I mean, just do it.
Exactly.
There's no holding back on this one.
Mark away because, again, this subclass isn't about the damage. It's about the damage mitigation.
Yeah. It's about making people attack you.
It's about being a tank.
Dudes, in Dragon Ball Super, there was Tournament Power just happened. You know, RIP Dragon Ball Super. It'll be back. Dragon Ball will be back again.
Okay.
But there was so many scenes because there's this like combat going on. There's like so many. It's like everyone versus everyone.
Oh, wow.
There were so many times where people's like, "I'm your enemy. Like you're fighting me. Remember?" That reminds me. Yeah, this reminds me of that.
Okay.
It's like, dude.
Yeah, very much so.
You are going to fight me, or
Indeed.
you're going to die.
Indeed, or you're going to pay the price.
Wow, that's freaking cool.
So yeah, that's your bread and butter. Let's move on. At level
I'm sold. I don't need any more.
I know, right? At level 7, you get a feature called Warding Maneuver. If you or a creature you see within 5 feet is hit by an attack, you can roll a d8 and add it to the target's AC.
Oh.
If the attack still hits the target, has resistance against the damage.
Oh.
So regardless, you're mitigating damage here.
That is broke.
You can do this.
That's broken.
You can do this a number of times equal to your Constitution mod.
Ooh, which should probably be kind of high.
Which should be kind of high, but I'd like that it's like, okay, now if you want this to be an effective subclass, you have 2 ability scores that you have to invest in, not just one.
Right.
We haven't really, I can't think of another subclass that comes to mind that kind of has done this where it splits your resource ability.
Okay.
Usually you just dump all into your research ability. You know, charisma
Bardic
if you're a warlock.
inspiration
Yeah.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah. Intelligence if you're a wizard. But with this, you kind of have to split it, and I think that keeps the warding maneuver from being broken. That being said, your con's probably going to be high anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be able to do this multiple times.
Yeah, at least 3 times if you got a 16 in con,
There you
which
go.
you should, because why wouldn't you? But I really like that ability. I think it's really cool, and just
Yeah, especially by level 7, you've got an ability score increase.
it
Under
just
your belt.
adds to the unwavering mark. It's like, okay, now not only do I take a punishment if I hit someone, not this dude, but he can actually make it so my hit on the other guy sucks.
Yeah, well,
So
we're like most likely completely misses.
Or
Dude,
that.
Can you
yeah.
imagine hitting an 8 on that die?
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Exactly.
come on. That attack's probably going to miss.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised they didn't go with a D6 instead, but whatever.
8's high.
It is high, but there it is. Really cool ability or feature. So at level 10, you get another feature. It's called Hold the Line. Creatures within your reach provoke opportunity attack when they move 5 feet or more. If you hit the creature, its speed is reduced to 0, so it has to stop moving. This, again, is lifted from 4th edition. This is the 4th edition fighter.
You kick them in the shin really fucking hard.
This trumps disengage.
Yeah.
You know how you can disengage and move? Yeah. And this is my notes. This trumps disengage and is straight fucked up with reach weapons.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Get that pole arm master feat. Yeah, you're gonna fuck some shit up.
Wow.
No one around you is moving ever again.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that's
very cool.
Really good.
I love this subclass.
This is a standout class. Like,
yeah, that's what I was
absolutely.
saying. I was reading this. I was like, oh my god.
You're freaking monstrous.
Indeed. At level 15, you get another feature. It's called Ferocious Charger. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line before attacking a creature and you hit, the creature must make a strength check, DC 8 plus a proficiency mod plus strength mod, or be knocked prone once per turn.
Cool.
Like,
Wow.
it's solid.
Yeah. Prone is rough.
Prone, yeah. It's definitely, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, it definitely hinders the enemy. It's
I would
not a
say
bad
so.
feature. Yeah. And finally, at level 18, this one I actually printed verbatim because its wording is a little confusing, and I'm going to tell you what I'm pretty sure it means, but you could tell me if
I
you
can
think
help
I'm
you
wrong.
out, yeah.
So starting at 18th level, you respond to danger with extraordinary vigilance.
Good.
In combat, you get a special reaction that you can take once on every creature's turn except your turn.
Okay, so let's stop there.
Okay.
So it's a special reaction, so it's outside of your normal action economy.
Yes.
Okay.
That's my interpretation. It doesn't count as your reaction. It's a special reaction.
Okay.
That could be taken on every turn that isn't yours.
Okay.
You can use this special reaction only to make an opportunity attack, and you can't use it on the same turn that you take your normal reaction. So, let's back
So it
this up.
sounds like you could make multiple of these special reactions if you didn't use your one-use normal reaction.
Indeed.
Okay.
So, let's back this up. Let's go back to Hold the Line.
Yeah.
Creatures within your reach provoke opportunity attack if they move 5 feet or more.
Right.
The opportunity attacks usually use your reaction. In this case, all opportunity attacks are going to default to your special reaction. So now,
Which is an
no one
infinite
is
pool.
moving ever.
Right.
Exactly.
You're just shin tapping people left
Yeah.
and right.
I fucking love this subclass.
This is really cool.
I'm
Have you seen that? Have you seen Boondock Saints?
Yes, I have. It's been a long
It's
time.
like, where you going? Nowhere. Where's he going?
I seriously don't remember.
Oh, man,
I haven't
it's
seen that
funny.
movie since 8th grade.
It's a pretty good movie. It's
Yeah,
definitely worth a watch.
I remember enjoying it. But yeah, it sounds like that. So yeah, that's the Cavalier. I'm pretty sure you can guess what I'm going to be building later. Any questions about the Cavalier?
Just like, how long does it take for a shin bruise so bad to heal that makes you not be able to move?
You'll never know because the Cavalier will just kill you.
Yeah, you'll probably be dead.
Yeah.
So, no one ever found out. They all die.
It's one of life's mysteries.
They go prone and they just get pole armed to death.
They go prone and they never get back up. Okay, so next, the last subclass we're talking about today, the Samurai.
Yeah.
This subclass is pretty cool. It was a little lackluster, but it is overall very solid. This subclass focuses on
Getting sent back in time. Or no, getting sent into the future and trying to go back in time.
No, not at all. I wish that'd be cool. No, this subclass focuses on a warrior's
Jack
relentless fighting spirit. Yes, I know. A warrior's relentless fighting spirit, like their ability to just keep going despite all adversity.
Nice.
It's extremely loosely based off the fictional representation of historical samurai.
Okay.
I think
sure.
that goes without saying, but I said it. Moving on. At level 3, you get a couple of features. Number 1, bonus proficiency, like we said before. Choice between history, insight, performance, persuasion, and a language of your choice.
I like the idea of the fighter being a diplomat. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, with samurais, they're a rough Eastern equivalent to like European knighthood.
It's really-
they were expected to be
yeah.
more cultured, more educated. You know, they were semi-noble. So
It's
very
good to
nice.
send a messenger that can defend themselves.
Indeed, that's true. So, at 3rd level, your bread and butter is called Fighting Spirit. 3 times per long rest, you can use a bonus action to give yourself advantage on weapon attack rolls till the end of your next turn, which is useful because later on you're going to get more than one attack in a turn. You also gain 5 temporary HP when you do this. This increases to 10 temporary HP and 15 temporary HP at levels 10 and 15.
Nice.
So just like
10 HP is
you're
good.
just really accurate 3 times a day. You just
Hopefully you don't need more than that.
No, the way I picture this is like
you get tired.
You hone in, you get focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like people that it was just the Winter Olympics. People that do the you got to go cross country and then you got to like shoot a gun.
Right.
Whatever that is.
Sure.
Well, when you do that, you have to like
yeah,
really,
you kind of zone in. You go into a trance. That's how I
your
picture
heart's
this fighting
pumping,
spirit.
and you have to like breathe out and like really focus
exactly.
yourself.
That's very much how I picture it.
Cool.
So that's going to be like your main feature for the remainder of your career as a samurai. At level 7, you're going to get another feature though called Elegant Courtier. Your discipline and self-control give you keen mental and social abilities. So you get to add your wisdom mod to persuasion checks, and you gain proficiency in wisdom saves.
Nice.
So some cool social stuff. It's solid. It's definitely useful. It will definitely get used many times.
There's a lot of good roleplay stuff here.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that. At level 10, you're going to get a feature called Tireless Spirit. When you roll initiative and have no fighting spirit, you regain 1 use. So there we go. We're back to replenishing this very limited resource.
Yeah, when you go into combat, you're going to want these things, so don't worry too much about running out of them.
Indeed. At level 15, you get an ability called Rapid Strike. You can trade accuracy for more strikes. When you make an attack action while you have advantage, which you get from your fighting spirit all the time, you can forgo advantage and make an additional attack once per turn. So it's just an extra attack. So I think the fighter gets by level 20 like four attacks.
Yeah.
You can get 5.
That's
Yeah.
I mean, hey.
Yeah, there it is.
Extra turns.
Indeed. And last but not least, at level 18, you get Strength Before Death. I also printed this one out.
Holy shit, level 20. This class is busted with like the action surges and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I keep forgetting to apply that to these subclasses. Like, I'm also getting all this really cool basic fighter stuff.
Indeed. Yeah, that is definitely something to remember.
Wow.
So starting at 18th level, your fighting spirit can delay the grasp of death.
Yay.
If you take damage,
my favorite thing to do.
I know. If you take damage that reduces you to 0 hit points and doesn't kill you outright, you can use your reaction to delay falling unconscious, and you can immediately take an extra turn, interrupting the current turn. While you have 0 hit points during the extra turn, taking damage causes death saving throw failures. As normal.
Hang on. Wait a minute.
Whoa. And 3 death saving throw failures can still kill you. When the extra turn ends, you fall unconscious and you still have 0 hit points. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish long rest. So again,
that sounds like the barbarian feature.
Yes. What was it? The zealot.
That one.
It's very similar. It's the idea of. In this case, it's the idea of your fighting spirit. You just keep going.
Whoa!
I picture this. I don't know why.
It's so high risk.
It's not quite an analog, but for some reason, this feature makes me picture the classic scene where the 2 samurai are facing off and they charge each other, and there's like a flash.
Yeah,
and they're both like past each other.
Yeah,
and then you see like the good guy, he goes down and he's like dying, but then the other guy like.
Yeah,
blood
he
everywhere.
explodes.
Yeah, that's
like his top half slides
I just
off of
feel
him.
like that's this feature because then the samurai keeps going. You know, he should be dead, but he's not.
You've seen 2 samurai. One of them's blue, one of them's red. Mugen and
Samurai Champloo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Samurai Champloo.
Seen many
literally
many clips from it.
The one of the like major scenes. Spoiler alert is that scene where they like run past each other.
It's a pretty classic samurai.
Yeah,
scene,
exactly.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Indeed.
Now I want to play Mugen.
Oh yeah, there you could. So that's the final subclass we're talking about today, the samurai. Any other questions about the samurai?
Man, I love applying all the regular, literally like the action surge, second wind stuff to these things. I'm like rethinking them now. Like, wait, you can do a lot of stuff.
You can, absolutely.
Man,
well, with that being said, let's actually build a character, and today's my turn. So we're gonna part with you guys for just a minute, and we're gonna come back. We're gonna build a character.
Bye.
So we're back
at it again.
And I'm going to build a fighter for the first time in a very long time.
Yeah, man. The first character I ever rolled was a fighter.
I know. I remember.
Battlemaster fighter.
Battlemaster fighter. I remember the day I was planting the seeds into your brain of how you were going to become obsessed with Dungeons and Dragons.
And now here we are.
Fucking
70-something episodes
deep.
deep.
Indeed. Just loving D&D.
And I still don't know anything.
Yeah, you still haven't absorbed even a modicum of knowledge. So let's talk about my guy. So I've been ruminating on this character for quite some time. The premise of this character is in a world full of all these fantastic please don't stop repeating.
Okay.
Full of these fantastic like races and magics and dragons and all these heroes and adventure and all this stuff. Like, what's going on in the everyday man's life? You know what I mean?
You're
like,
gonna make a street level character.
Kinda, in a way.
Okay.
So it's a male human fighter. His name will be Norman Armstrong. And one of the things about this character is I wanted to make him remarkably unremarkable.
Okay.
If that makes any sense. To a certain extent. Obviously, I'm gonna want him to have good stats. But the premise is he's a guy,
middle-aged white guy. Okay.
He was born into a town. He lived a peaceful life. He served some time in the militia. He did well. Once he served his time there, he went back and worked with his parents in their horse trading stables.
Okay.
His parents grew old, died. They had a great life. He took over, and he's been doing that for a while. And at about the age of 35, 36, he's got a good life. He never married for some reason. It just never happened for him.
Already dead?
His parents already died. Maybe they had him when they were older.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right. Or maybe this is like a really like low level cap for like people in this D&D setting, like they die early.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's
not
really important.
Okay.
The important part is he has a good life. It's very much like Bilbo in the Shire. He's got a good life. He's comfortable. He's got a good business. It's a beautiful town. There's no reason that he should be dissatisfied.
Right.
But he is.
Except.
And he doesn't know why. And eventually, he's like looking out on the horizon and just apropos of
sees
nothing.
the cat lord.
No. Apropos of nothing, he sells his stable. Or better yet, he gives his stable to his apprentice who just got married. He's like, you know what? You just got married. You're going to have kids. You're going to raise a family. You can have the stable. I'm going to take my favorite horse. I'm going to pack up enough food for 2 weeks. And I'm just going. And I don't know where I'm going. I don't know why. I don't know who I am, but I'm going to find that person.
Okay. Cool.
I don't know what it is I need, but I'm going to find it.
Human fighter then.
Human fighter.
Right.
And
okay.
so I also want to subvert some tropes here. I think with the hero's journey, especially the Disney-fied versions we get a lot of the time in modern pop culture, like our hero is like a young man who's very handsome with full head of hair and a chiseled jaw. And,
sure.
He's very innocent and charming. I want this guy to be a little grizzled. Like, number one, he's a bit older. So he's like, he's a late bloomer. I want him to be bald.
Got it. Goiter. Goiter.
No goiter. No goiter.
Right
he's
here.
bald. He's not very good looking.
Okay.
Not to insult one of my favorite actors, but I picture him as like a bald John C. Reilly.
Sure.
That's just how I picture him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bald John C. Reilly.
With maybe like a big bushy beard, like John C. Reilly had in Kong Skull Island.
Sure, it's like kind of messy, like
kind of messy,
overly curly or something like that. So it doesn't
maybe
quite
it's not
shape
too
right.
messy. No, I want him to be. He's clean cut.
Okay, he takes care of himself.
He takes care of himself. Yeah. And like he's a strong guy, but he doesn't have like the body of like a superhero. He just has like a kind of a big bulky build.
Yeah, he's like throwing hay around for horses.
Indeed.
And like he's got to like saddle up people and whatnot. Okay.
Yeah. And so
put on horseshoes. You're doing
right.
The strength of somebody who does physical labor for work every day of their life.
Indeed.
Nice.
And so
pretty strong if you ask me.
So before we roll the stats, last thing I want to say is basically I want a character who I have no idea where he's going at all. Like a lot of characters I build, like I have a goal in mind for them, like their goal.
They're determined to do something.
Yeah, indeed. Norman doesn't have a goal. He doesn't know what he's looking for.
His goal is to find a goal?
We're gonna discover as we play through a campaign, theoretically, what Norman's goal is. Like, is it adventure he's after? Is it excitement? Is it money? He doesn't know, but he's gonna find out, maybe. Let's find out. Now let's roll some fucking stats.
Let's do it.
So, I don't mind if the stats are bad, because Norman Armstrong has been a horse trader most of his life.
Yeah.
So basically, I picture, he goes inside his house, he opens up the closet, and he sees his old militia uniform with his halberd and like his old chainmail, and he puts it on. It's a little snug, he's a little bigger than he used to be. But yeah, there we go.
It's like I'll work off the extra weight and it'll fit me again.
Indeed. So I got 2 6s and a 1. That's a 13.
Not bad.
I got a 5 and that's a 9.
9. Okay. Ooh. So it begins.
That is an 11.
Cool.
That is a 10.
Cool.
That is a 14.
There you go.
How many? I got one more.
Let's see. We've got 5 so far.
Okay. So we're not doing the rerolls anymore.
Right.
None of that.
We're sticking with what we get.
I got a 5,
there you
4,
go.
and a 4. That's a 13.
Cool.
So
Not bad. We've rolled much worse on this show.
Right. So I want to go, believe it or not, with the standard human, not even the variant, just
So
a
the
+1 to everything.
That's actually not bad because you have 2 13s.
Oh, nice.
And
Cool.
an 11 and a 9.
So what does that put my stats at? What
If
do
I
got?
add the one,
Yeah,
so
go ahead and
you'll
add
be
the
at
ones.
14, 10, 12, 11, 15, and 14.
Alrighty. And then at level 4, because we're going to build a level 5 fighter, I get a
Yeah.
+2.
Plus 2 to 1 or plus 1 to 2?
Mind
So
showing me the stats real
yeah,
quick?
sure. You can go 1-1 right here and make these evens, or you can go 2 to your weak stat or 2 to your
Let's
14.
put 2 to a 14. I want a 16.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. Plus 2.
All right. So a 16 in strength, a
Strength
15 in
is-
con.
Strength, con. Okay.
What's the next highest?
You have another 14 here.
Put that in wisdom.
Wisdom.
What's the lowest stat? That's going in charisma.
10. Charisma.
All right.
Average.
What's left?
You have a 12 and an 11. So intelligence and
Dexterity.
dexterity. So 12 dex?
I think 12 dex and 11. He's a man of average intelligence. He's just a normal guy.
Yeah. Okay.
So there it is. So, as a fighter, he's not going to get a lot of options. I think he gets his extra attack at level 5. And I want him to have a halberd because in actual history, guards and soldiers usually had pole arms, specifically spears. In this case, I'm going with a halberd because halberds are fucking cool. And they're my favorite pole arm.
They're very cool.
He's going to have chainmail. So his AC is
So
going to
wait,
be
are you
16.
building the Cavalier? Or?
I'm building a Cavalier.
Oh, okay,
so at
cool.
level 3, he's going to get that awesome feature where he punishes people for not hitting him.
Hell yeah.
And I just kind of want to build this guy to be a tank. So I'm thinking later on he'll take the toughness feat. He'll probably take the pole arm master feat.
Okay. That's way later because
That's way later.
Buff.
Yeah, I'm just the path I would have in mind for him combat wise or mechanics wise would be that just building him up, getting him into plate mail.
Yeah, he'll learn to do these things that he never really trained with
Exactly.
anybody. He just picks it up as he goes.
Exactly.
Cool.
And I just want him to go out into the battlefield to just be a black hole.
This kind of build, especially with a fighter, reminds me of how I first started playing D&D. I don't know what I'm about in D&D or what this character. I have a loose idea of who this character is, but I want them to figure it out as they go.
Right.
And so I gave my character amnesia, but this is a very, very good, honest way to do it.
Yeah, I just in the beginnings of my introduction to this game, I would have found that to be a very boring and dull approach to a character.
Okay.
But now I've played so many characters and you see all these exotic ideas. It's you know what? Sometimes I just want a simple, straightforward hero's journey. Let's just see where this goes kind of thing.
It's kind of cool because you can meld the character. You can make the character have development to
Indeed.
fit what's going on in the campaign.
Yeah,
in the world.
anything could happen to this guy because I've left his whole life open-ended. He has no attachments to where he's from.
He gave it up.
Yeah, he never got married. He never had children. He never had any of that. So is romance in store for him? Maybe. Is adventure? Is money? Who knows?
He's not opposed to any of these
I
things.
mean,
Norman's laid
or
with
will-
a woman.
Yeah,
Has he
indeed,
not?
indeed he has. That's hilarious. Is maybe a moment of self-sacrifice for his allies. You know what I mean? Maybe he gives his life. Who knows? Norman can be anything.
Maybe he learns to spin his pole arm so fast people can't even see it, and he just cuts
There you go.
orcs straight up in half.
Yeah, sure.
Sick.
Yeah, maybe he just becomes the dopest warrior alive. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows what's in store for Norman? Perhaps he'll lay with another woman.
Perhaps. Okay, we're done. We're done.
Let's call it a game.
All right, we built our characters. Thank you guys for listening. We'll talk to you guys later. We're going to
Bye.
call it a game.
Bye.
The Dungeoncast.